E l'aria fresca paesana festa, che bella cosa una giornata sole. Oh, ma tu sei più bella di me, oh sole mio, stai pronto a te.
Bentornati tifosi napolitani to another edition of Noi Tifiamo Napoli podcast on the Far From Vesuvius network. I'm your host, as always, Raffa Rispo, and finally we have Daniel Russo back. Dan, what's going on, bro?
And I've been itching to get back on. How's it going?
It's good, man. But even though we've taken quite a bit of a hiatus here too, it doesn't have a lot to do with, the performance against Atalanta and, the break that we had. By the way, shout out to everybody I ran into at the Italy game in Jersey. It's been that long since, I've been on here, but I was supposed to do shows all the way through, and my apologies to everybody listening who has been waiting on us, but, few things happening in life and few things coming up. It's just hard to get everybody together at the same time, and I didn't really want to come back on without Dan. So I'm happy to be back here, Dan. Happy to be back talking about Napoli. So much has gone on, and it's also pretty nice to come back on to a nice win, right? I mean, I talked about the loss to Atalanta after the break, 3-0 at home, terrible. It was almost as if we were ready, and I was ready, honestly, to, finally admit that Champions League may not happen this season, for next season, coming to terms with it, stuff like that. And then we go into the game with Monza, right? And
right.
We come in,
even that first half, it was flat,
it's same old shit, right? In the first half, they get the goal.
Absolutely.
It's funny too, Dan, because I was watching with my cousin Dan at the shop, and I said to him, I should have made a bet because we didn't really do bets this week either. So sorry about the non-bets on the Far From Vesuvius and the non-podcast for Far From Vesuvius bets on Napoli. But I told Dan, I said, hey, I should have bet for Zerbin to score or assist in this game, and he goes,
played phenomenal. Honestly, I loved him.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, for some reason, I had this feeling that he was gonna contribute, and he did. Assisted the first goal.
Hey, well, it's that thing, where. Not to say like he has an animosity for us, obviously, because I don't really think he does. I don't think he possibly could, because we did give him chances as well.
Sure.
And he even played pretty good when he was on, actually. I can't say that he was terrible. I don't think he's Napoli quality, but...
No, he wasn't terrible, and, I think it was in, the fashion that we were ready to let him go on loan, obviously. I think it was supposed to be to Frosinone, and then it didn't work out, and it went to Monza. But
it was that whole Popovic debacle.
That's right.
That made us not bring him,
right.
not let him go.
That's right. So then, he gets the goals in the Super Cup. The game against Fiorentina in the Super Cup. By the way, before we go anywhere else, I'd like to take a moment to pay respects to Joe Barone with Fiorentina. Haven't been able to do that on the air yet, and he wasn't a family friend, Dan, but he was a friend, of a dear friend. Our community and personally in the family sort of felt that, I mean, my dad knows Rocco Commisso. They go way back to the 70s in the Bronx, probably with your dad.
For real, yeah. I know this whole community is very intertwined.
Yeah.
And, it's always really sad to see somebody pass away at such a young age.
Yeah, and
like
in
that.
the fashion that he did too, I mean,
Right.
it was such a scene that all of Fiorentina had to postpone the game against Atalanta, so they're a game, they have a game in hand, and I just wanted to really come out here and pay my respects to him and to the Fiorentina fans, the family, everybody's families and all that stuff, and it's just so life takes over when it comes to the stuff like that, and
Right.
there's a lot more important than just this football thing, even though that was his life. You know what I mean? He had family, he had kids. He's and he was a really nice guy for all accounts. So rest in peace, Joe Barone. And our condolences definitely go out to you and your family. And so now back to Napoli, right? Again, we came into the Monza game. We made a few changes in the lineup. Calzona decided to go with Oliveira on the left, but the same center back duo of Juan Jesus and Rachmani with Di Lorenzo on the right. And then in the midfield, instead of Traore, he went back to Zielinski with Lobotka and Anguissa. And then Kvara, Osimhen, and Ngongs got a start too, instead of Politano, which surprised me, actually. But I think it was refreshing to see, especially at the start of the game, like before kickoff. It was nice to see Ngongs getting a start. I was a little worried about Zielinski because, Zielinski's 1 foot out the door.
Got his head in the clouds.
In the clouds,
but
up in Milan.
Like you said, it was nice to see some elements to the team be changed up because of how poor it's been. Especially Traore. Like, I know I sung his praises when he first came, and he was proving me right. But man, that Atalanta game really, not even just the Atalanta game. I think pretty much every game since. What was the game after the Juve game? Because the Juve game, he was still okay, but I think it might have been Barcelona right away again, no?
I believe it was Barcelona
Second,
right away. Yeah.
Ever since that game, it's been horrendous. He's been terrible. I don't remember any good things he's done since. And honestly, if it's not Traore, who is it? It's Zielinski or it's Karius, and. We're short. We're short right now. Obviously, I mean, we'll get to the second half whenever we get there in the pod, but it didn't look like it was working in the first half. I'll tell you that.
No.
I'll tell you that much.
It did not look like it was working. The game after Juve was Torino, actually.
Torino.
And then the second leg of the Barcelona tie. Yeah, the Torino 1-1. So that's how we started. Monza with Di Gregorio, Birindelli, Izzo, Pablo Mari, and Caldirola. Akpro, and Gagliardini with the double pivot. Kopani, Mota, and Zerbin. And then Judic. And, Monza came in riding right behind us, and a win for them would have tied us with points, and they got off to a really hot start, like we mentioned earlier. Zerbin with the assist down the flank sends it in for a perfect cross. Judic at the head gets on it, and we give up a goal again, and we give up a goal first again, and now we have to play catch up. And I got to be honest with you, the first half was dreadful. It was absolutely horrendous, and I felt nothing good about it.
It's come to the point where, like, I just watch and I'm numb,
Yeah.
I just watch and I just watch just because I don't know. It's almost like you're
It's a drug.
Obviously, I don't have a kid yet, and I don't know how it is with your kids, but like if you'd have to take them to like a basketball game or something on a Saturday, and you really don't want to be there, but you just go there because you have to.
Well, Dan, I coach the kids, so I don't want to be there to coach.
Yeah, there you go.
It's you got to take a Saturday off. You got to do something during the week. You got to, you work and you take care of your kids, and then you got to go like wrestle around with like another set of kids that you just don't want to deal with, and it's very difficult to do that, especially at first, and especially when you get kids who've never touched the ball in their life, because every session it's always something like that. But it's like that. Watching Napoli is like that. It's like it's sacrificing for what, like for what we saw in the first half, like waking up early in the morning. Like, we got to wake up at 6:30 in the morning to watch Frosinone.
Bro, we woke up. Yeah, we woke up at 7:30 in the morning. When was it? The other weekend, just to get trashed by Atalanta.
Watch the garbage.
And not that Atalanta is some terrible team. Not to say that. I didn't mean to make it sound like that. But like,
no, but if
you're at home, you have to put a product out for these fans.
You're right. But let's quickly, before we go to Monza and dive in deep in the second half, because there's nothing to talk about in the first half. 1-0 down. We went to the locker room, hung our heads. Our fans' whistles were louder than Monza's fans' cheers. It is insane, absolutely insane. Meritiamo più and
Meritiamo di più, vaffanculo lo scudetto, meritiamo più rispetto. What?
I have a problem with, big time. I'm never vaffanculo lo scudetto. No,
I don't think you. I think you're taking it too literally, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Because
I get
it's like
I do, but I would.
I think what they're trying to say, is like you can't hide behind that guise anymore. You know what I mean? Like, oh, just because you won a scudetto, now you're infallible. You know what I mean? That's the way we were the first like 6 months of the season.
I understand. Yeah, I understand the context of it too. I get that they're not actually saying, so what about forget the scudetto. They're not saying that. I know that, but at the same time, I would never bring that scudetto up in the first place. Like. We've been yearning for that scudetto. Okay. Meritiamo di più? Perfect. We do. We deserve more. Right. Fine. But I don't know if I would even, like, bring that scudetto up. That scudetto was moments that we'll never forget. And we're already coming back to almost a year from the day that we won the Scudetto, and this movie's coming out, and everybody's getting all teary-eyed again. But meanwhile, we've got Curva singing, Vaffanculo Scudetto. And it is what it is, but at the same time, like, I don't blame Curva or Curva B or anybody for being so frustrated with this club. I don't. After that first half, I was just like, and here's the thing, Dan, like, I blocked, so... And Sundays that we open the shop at 10 o'clock. So at 9 o'clock, I'll come in with some donuts and some coffee. Me and my cousin will watch the game for an hour. Then we'll open up, and then whatever happens, happens. Normally, I close my book until 11 to continue watching the second half. Then my first customers come in. Meanwhile, if there's walk-ins, and everyone's working, I'll take them. But that wasn't the case for this. Like, we sat there for the whole second half as well, and I didn't need to, it wasn't a busy Sunday. People were still away on vacation. It was spring break here, plus the whole thing with the eclipse the next day. People were not back up here, so, like, it wasn't a busy Sunday. But I told my cousin, I said, you know what? Fuck it, I'm taking walk-ins because this is trash, Turns out something happened in that locker room.
I don't know what the hell happened at halftime. I mean, I heard some things that, like, Calzona got on they called them the senatori on the team, the guys that have been there for longer. He got on them, and all of a sudden that's what sparked this change in the second half, because you saw it immediately. Like, they came out for blood. I don't know what the hell they ate at halftime, but
Me neither.
Maybe they got some of Bangsbo's juice from Atalanta.
Seriously, I mean, we had an early substitution. We saw Politano getting ready to come in at halftime. He didn't get in until it was the 55th minute,
so 51st, 52nd,
minutes.
yeah.
So Ngong spent another 10 minutes in the first half or in the second half. I'm pretty sure. He scored. He put the ball in the net, but it was offside. So Napoli right away.
Yeah, he got an offside goal, which was just
exactly. It was for sure. But it was good to see us, with a sense of urgency early in the half. We were only down by 1 to a team in Monza, which, like I said, are right behind us. But we could have beat them. We could beat. This is it's not. They're not unbeatable. Monza we could beat. So for Ngong to put the ball in the net, and then, okay, 55th minute, let's put Politano in, let's get him back in. And my God, the Politano that we saw was just the Politano that we've been craving for, isn't it? But
past the goal, which is probably one of the best goals I've ever seen a Napoli player score. Yeah. But besides the goal, I mean, That's my frustration with this guy, because it's like he has so much talent. He's always had so much talent, and it takes him getting a kick in the ass for him to wake up. To not start. That's what we saw for his whole Napoli career, with Lozano being on all the time instead of him. Then Politano getting in. And that's the way it is, but I don't know, man. Very frustrating player, but it was awesome to see. Politano, he's just a guy that he has so much talent, and I know a lot of people disagree with me anyway, but I see it. I've always seen a lot of talent with him, even since his Sassuolo days. Sorry, a lot of S's going on over there. Even since the Sassuolo days, but what frustrates me the most with him is that it seems as though he can only show it if he gets a kick in the ass. Like what happened on Sunday, where he didn't get the start finally, after many, many months of me pleading with Calzona or Mazzarri, whoever it was, to please not start this guy, because it seems as though ever since his renewal, he hasn't been showing anything to us. But yeah, I mean, Sunday he came on, he looked like a monster. His first touch, I don't know if you remember, this first touch was like incredible. He took the ball down, took a high ball down perfectly, as if it was like it looked like Messi. I don't mean to put them in the same sentence, but no, that's what it looked like.
No, you're right. I also should probably add that Ngong came off because he had a yellow card. But there were probably other factors too. I mean, Politano coming in, fresh legs, need a kick in the butt. Sterling Ngong.
I did like Ngong in the game.
I did
though.
Too. I did too, and he got a high rating. Let's shout him out right now. He had a 7.1. So that's not bad. Like I said, he put the ball in the net. But then Monza made a double substitution in the 54th minute with Bondo coming in for Aka Akpro, and then Churia coming in for Zerbin. Looked like Zerbin might have been an injury. I don't really remember. But Politano comes in also for Ngong, and then right away it makes an impact because a minute after that, Napoli draw level when Anguissa with a beautiful cross. Beautiful. And then Osimhen with probably the header of his career.
It just doesn't make sense that a human being could do what he did.
The ups that he had, and then the wherewithal to get the ball to the head, and then the spill he took. Also,
but the power on that header, it was like a shot. Freak of nature.
Just the spill he took, unbelievable. He bangs his face on the ground. Napoli score, they're level, and it was one of those things where I was really excited and happy to see that we scored, and at the same time I'm arguing with some friends on WhatsApp chat, And the negativity on the chat, and you guys know who you are. I'm not gonna shout you all out, but you know who you are. Your pains in my asses is what you guys are. But anyway, there was just so much negativity, and I'm like trying to spew a little bit of positivity. Like, you know what, guys? We're talking a lot of garbage here, blah, blah, blah. We're going to be fine. They're all going into next year. They're panicking, and I get it. We're looking like crap, and I get it. But I said, listen, let's let this game finish, and then we'll talk shit, And as soon as I said that, we scored the goal, and there we go, And, yeah, that was that. And then literally 2 minutes later, Politano's strike, man. Like, it's funny because the chat was saying he'll never hit a shot like that in his life again, and I don't know if that's true, but
I'm willing to say that is the best goal I've ever seen a Napoli player score for
wow.
Napoli.
That is
I don't know. I
live because Maradona scored a few freaking amazing goals.
Yeah, but in
too,
my lifetime, you know what I mean? Like that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't think of any other goals. Like I mean, like I'm sure like there's been plenty. Maybe Mertens' goal against Torino, I could say.
Cavani against Lecce.
No, I think no. You know what? Cavani's against Lecce is a screamer. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I think maybe it's in contention with Politano's or Mertens' because for those goals it just comes out of nothing. You know what I mean? You're just kind of like sitting there, then all of a sudden that happens. You're not really anticipating a shot like that from Politano or even like a chip. From Mertens.
To go up too, and you were just down. You scored the equalizer 2 minutes before too. Here's another one, and I hate to bring this guy up because
it's Higuain, 100%.
He is who he is. Higuain's final goal with Napoli.
Right, that's a special 36th.
That was listen. If there's anything good that came from him, it was that season. And those goals that he scored, but I mean, I want to put Politano. That'd be a good topic for like the off season.
It's a good debate,
like ranking Napoli goals. Like I think that's a good debate to have. We'll put something on the socials and we'll see if we can get a response. But Politano scores, what a strike it was, and they turned things around right away. The ball that was 25 yards out, nothing to do with nothing for Di Gregorio to do, who's a fantastic keeper, by the way. And just like that, Napoli are leading. And then 3 minutes after that, it's that man who's out the door and who I was just not long before this really kind of, I was kind of giving him shit, like, in my own head, like, just get off my pitch. Like, I think it was something that happened in the first half where he didn't get to a ball. I think it was that one sequence where Kvara had the ball where there was no keeper, and
hey, what happened?
I have no idea.
I don't know. It gave me the beeping, like doom doom doom, like the other person went off. I don't know.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
All right. Don't worry about it. All right. So anyway, what I was saying was this. I was just giving Zielinski crap to my cousin, to myself, because in the first half, there was a moment in the first half. I'm sure you remember, but we had the ball. We were Di Gregorio was off his line, and I think it where Osimhen took a shot or something like that. Osimhen had an opportunity, a 1-on-1, and then was it Kvara that got the ball and couldn't get a decent shot off, and tried to find Zielinski, who was just kind of standing there and not really like running towards the goal or towards the ball. And
yeah, I think I remember this.
Yeah, it was a chance that we had, and I was just so like, get this freaking guy off my pitch. Like, I'm done with him. Like he has no business there. And then the incredible goal he scores.
Rafa, even I'm sure you've seen a lot of my tweets about him throughout the season, and there's been, and most if not all of them are all negative, which, I think I'm justified. I do, but
I believe that.
But it comes from a place of love and adoration for him, because if this was a guy that, if it was like I don't know, pick your point, like a Mario Rui or something like that, where if he was going to Inter, I kind of really wouldn't care. Even though I really like Mario Rui, I wouldn't care as much as I do for Zielinski. And this isn't because he's going to Inter. It's because of plenty of other factors I'm not even going to go into. But, it's so frustrating to watch him not give even like 75% of his ability, because even 75% of his ability is more than most of what the guys on this team can give, because he's such a special player, and he can make things happen out of nothing just like that. And I mean, it was really nice to see again, maybe a little throwback. I don't know how long it's going to last until the end of the season. Where maybe this kind of picks him up and he kind of wants to help us until the end of the season. Who knows? But it was nice to see, at least for Sunday.
I remember him. He had taken a shot, and I think it was might have been against Inter. It might have been the game before, but he had taken a shot where it hit off the post not long ago.
Oh, it was Atalanta. He almost scored.
It was the Atalanta game. Okay. Oh, that's right. He almost drew level, and then it would have been a different story. But now he hits the underside of the crossbar this time from 20 yards out. Like we said, 4 minutes earlier, Politano with a 25-yard just golazo, and then Zielinski scores another one. In the same form of it. Kvara had his initial shot blocked, and then regained the ball and laid it off to Zielinski, who just took a chance. That's in the 61st, and 1 minute later, Monza score again, and this time it was Colpani who comes right down to the other end and then takes aim for a tight angle on the edge of the box, and Juan Jesus. The ball caroms off of Juan Jesus and goes in Medet's right, which, there was really not much Medet could do there either. It was a great shot, like I said, that was, ricocheted off of Juan Jesus.
Colpani's a fantastic player, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to.
No, Colpani is an amazing player, and I'd love him on Napoli. To be honest with you, I think he's a wonderful talent. Should get a shout for the national team, and yeah, man, he's a good player, and he deserved that goal, and it was all good because now we go from a 1-0 game, and in a matter of like 7 to 8 minutes, it's 3-2, and it's a firecracker of a game, honestly. So I would even we had the 2-goal cushion, so as Colpani scored, it was one of those things where I was just like laughing at it, like, what the hell? And then you see the replay and see that it comes off of Juan Jesus's thigh, and you're like, something, this Juan Jesus, like, I feel like he's a soldier of the team. Like, he's definitely loves Napoli, and the fans should love his adoration for this city and this team. But my God. And when he's, and like, we've said it all season long, he's been one of the most consistent defenders we've had. The pairing between him and Rachmani just not working out that well.
Just shouldn't be a starter. It's that simple.
But he can't, because then there comes a point in time, Dan, when he's not on, he's awful.
Right.
And when it comes heavy. and it makes everyone else bad. And, it's crazy because Rachmani didn't have that bad of a game, in my opinion, for this one. And it's
No, you're right.
You want to get behind him with all the stuff that's going on with him and Acerbi and the league and the racism and all that stuff. I love him, and I really do. I have nothing but respect and adoration and admiration and props to him for being such a great human and a great soldier of Napoli. But God, where is Natan? Why isn't Ostigard starting? Like, let's do something about that too. We made the changes in the lineup for the first half. I mean, that's got to be looked at also.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we're at a point in the season where why can't Natan play? Like, why can't Ostigard play?
Where's Mazzocchi?
Because Di Lorenzo has been, oh my God. Like, oof. You could do a whole episode. You could do a whole episode on Di Lorenzo and him and his mistakes. Like, oof. Horrendous.
But anyway, moving on quickly because I know we don't have much time here. A minute after the goal, we create a new chance where Osimhen could have made it 4-2. Di Gregorio came out of his line to deny him, but Osimhen was one-on-one.
There was a penalty in that play, by the way. 2 penalties we didn't get.
That's right. 2 penalties we didn't get. We should have gotten. One was in the first half, I believe.
With Ngong. Zerbin took down Ngong.
That's right. So, the double switch comes in. Kayus comes on for Zielinski, and Raspadori comes on for Kvara in the 68th minute. And once again, magic. Raspadori's first touch of the match, like, an unbelievable impact. And all he had to do was be in the right place, which I was getting frustrated with all game, where no one was on the other side. Like, it frustrates me to no end when we put a cross in and there's no one on the other side at all, or there's no one, like, anywhere remotely close to goal. And Di Lorenzo,
it's just lack of effort at that point,
It's a lack of effort, man. But Di Lorenzo gets a shot off that is saved by Di Gregorio, but Raspadori meets the rebound and just cannons it into the back of the net, and you could see in his face, like it's funny because he pointed to his wrist as if he had a watch on, like, he just came on, and it was just, I love when he scores because he's so happy when he scores, and his smile and his laugh and his excitement is pretty infectious, and it was a 4-2, and this meant something to the players. I think we'll just end the the game discussion there. There were a few more. Rui came in for Oliveira. I will quickly read off the ratings. Meret was a 5.5 or 5.5. 2 goals given up, but aside from that, not much else. Oliveira ends up with a 7.1. Oliveira with a 7.1. Juan Jesus with a 5.6. I'm sorry, 6.6. Rachmani with a 7.3. Who actually completed the most passes in the match with 72. Di Lorenzo with a dismal 6.6. Zielinski, 7.9, got the goal, but was also the most accurate passer with 97% to play 45 minutes or more, which was pretty nice to see too. Lobotka, always a soldier of Napoli. In my opinion, Lobotka was the best player on the field against Atalanta.
He's the best player on the field almost every
for
game,
sure.
Man.
But specifically in the loss to Atalanta,
that Atalanta game is the only guy
than anybody else. Yeah, he was the only guy doing anything. He was the most fouled player in the match with 3. He got a 7.3. Anguissa with an 8.1, the beautiful assist. Plus, he also created the most chances in the match. Kvara with an 8.0. He got the assist, completed the most dribbles in the match. Osimhen, man of the match, 8.4. He got the star of the match. The goal there. And then Ngong with a 7.1. Like you said, decent performance for Ngong. We're going to get Politano gets a 7.7 for his efforts off the bench. Raspadori with a 7.5 for his. Obviously, they both scored. Cayust and Mario Rui, 6.5, 6.1 respectively. The best player rated for Monza was actually beating Delhi with a 7.9. He provided the assist to, it was Zerbin with an 8. He got the assist off to Juric, and then beating Delhi assisted Kopani. But there you have it. The table, that was big for us, bro. That was really big for us.
Huge win.
Monza, like I said, Monza with a win could have, we were tied on points for a little bit, and now there's a 6-point cushion there. Napoli are sitting in 7th place, and they are only 2 points behind Atalanta in 6th, albeit Atalanta have the match in hand. That's the one against Fiorentina that was postponed because of John Brown's passing. That match might be rescheduled, not be able to be rescheduled until like the end of the season. It depends on what happens in Europe from here on out.
Right, because if Atalanta get knocked out, it doesn't matter. They could just reschedule it whenever.
Exactly. If Atalanta get knocked out, I think.
Or
also
I forget about Fiorentina too. They got conference.
They're in the conference. Yeah. So it's gonna take a little bit. Then there's also Fiorentina. In the and they both play each other in the Coppa Italia too. So, anyway, yeah. So there's that. 2 points away from Atalanta, and 7 points out from Roma in 5th, which it still looks like that 5th place spot will be a Champions League spot, and it sounds like it's a lot with 7 matches left to go, but. Listen to Roma's next few games. Okay, they have to play Milan tomorrow, which we're recording on a Wednesday. It's Wednesday, the 10th. We just did Champions League today. They have to play. Their next matches are against Milan tomorrow, Udinese on the road, and then Milan again in the second leg. But then Bologna, us, Juve, Atalanta, Genoa, Empoli, and that's it. That's the end of the season. But if they beat Roma, they go on in the semifinal of the Europa League. So honestly, we have to play them. If we can beat them, and if Roma Bologna is going to be huge. Then Roma have to play Juve and Atalanta. Juve don't want to finish anything less than 3rd. Atalanta in the league still want to try to get Europe. This may very well work out in our favor, if we can keep this up, Dan. If we can keep this up.
Yeah, I mean, we just it remains to be seen. We need to put a few wins together. I mean,
win
these
more than 2 games in a
we
row.
can get. I mean, and they're more than doable. A home match against Frosinone. Exercise some demons from the Coppa Italia, and then an away Empoli match, which we've been very good away to Empoli as of late.
Yeah.
The past few seasons, so it's not impossible. We could get these 3 wins. It's gonna hinge on these 3 wins. It's gonna hinge on these 2 games, next 2 games. Sorry, we could get 3 wins in a row here. Then I might be willing to say, something's brewing. You know what I mean? Something could brew, because then the next game is against Roma, and that's really the telltale game,
True. Really quickly, I know we have to go because it's getting late, but the possibility of Napoli not making it to Europe now with this win, it feels a lot more like. And plus, don't forget, Lazio lost, Torino lost. Fiorentina lost. Atalanta lost. Like, it could happen. We're Europe is probably going to happen, but there's been a lot of talk about Napoli possibly not making Europe this season. what's your stance on that? Like, do we have to, even if it's Conference League, like, what is it necessary to make Europe for the 15th or 16th, whatever it is, consecutive season?
I mean, honestly, if it's anything less than the Europa League, I'd rather not play it. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay, but if it's Conference League, are you... Because honestly, dude, the way I see it is, if Napoli do slip into the Conference League, there should be zero reason we don't win that thing.
No, we would be by far the best team. It was like you could probably win that tournament with like your eyes closed. But
well, I mean, but it could boost some confidence. You know, like I don't know.
I get it, but
also, go ahead. You just tell me why you'd rather not be in Europe if it comes to the Conference League.
It's just such a, I don't know, especially if, and I don't want to get off topic here because there's a layer to this, and it's the new coach.
Yeah. That
I'm about to bring up, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this with Conte.
I know where you're going with it because I think, yeah, because I'm of the same opinion that if we don't, I mean, I'm also, here's the thing, Dan. If we don't make Europe and Conte comes in, it's probably Conte's best situation.
That's his best situation. That's where he works best.
Yeah. He's not very good in Europe.
No.
A. And B, go back to that team that he took over for Juventus. They were not in Europe. They finished the season unbeaten until
he did it twice, man. He did it with Juve and then he did it with Chelsea.
Okay. See? And he came in and took an Inter that was banter era and turned them into champions. And I was so against it when the talks were coming in, but it also had to do with, mainly to me, it had to do with the fact that he's a 3-5-2 guy. We don't have the players. He and De Laurentiis wouldn't work out, blah, blah, blah. But after looking at all the reports that are coming in saying how ADL is going to splash cash on him and also give him carte blanche with no penalty on, or no restriction on who to sign. Like,
but that's the thing. That's the important part. You have to give this guy the players he needs to play his system. You can't.
Do you see how?
And you as De Laurentiis after this season, you have to just sit there and just not say a word to him. Just give him the money he wants and let him do it. You know what I mean?
Do you realize how important the system in which ADL operates is now more than ever the most important factor of this team? Like, if we had done what every fan wanted us to do and spent the big bucks on a guy like Benzema or got into financial trouble with FFP, with all these other, they were already breathing down our necks about Osimhen. Imagine if we'd gotten two other players valued like Osimhen had been. Or you know, everybody complained about how ADL operated this team, and we were always so close, and never got to that spot. At this point, we are in the position to be able to give Conte some money for his pocket, and then give Conte the money to make his team. Because, okay, even if we don't make the Champions League, I think for me, it is imperative that it's Conte and nobody else. Because if we don't make the Champions League, we are selling Osimhen, so we're going to have double the money that we would have made. Obviously, making double Champions League money off of Osimhen and also qualifying for the Champions League would be better. Obviously, I'm not here saying we're better off not qualifying for the Champions League. That's not what I'm saying, Dan. But what I'm saying is that if we don't qualify for the Champions League, we at least have the money from the sale of Osimhen, and we have the funds available because we're no debt to make it worth Conte's while. And without Champions League, to me, one of the only managers that can attract players Champions League caliber is Antonio Conte. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I
Napoli
totally
is
agree.
still a team.
He's been somebody that I've wanted on Napoli since his Juve days. Honestly,
Right,
I always
can't agree
imagined
with that. I definitely don't agree with that because, well, not that I don't agree with that, but I'm opposite in your views when it came to that. I was totally against Conte coming in. I thought it would be a complete shit show, and it might still be after 2 seasons when something doesn't go wrong, when something doesn't go right his way. He'll probably blame everyone else and then be out. You know what I'm saying?
No, but the thing with me is that I think he was right for refusing to come in the middle of the season because we were such a disaster and the team was not built for him. He's looking for a team to be built for him. If he gets a summer, then you could do that. You know what I mean? You can't do that like what Mazzarri tried to do.
I 100%
You know,
agree with
Mazzarri
that.
is a perfect example of how it would have been with Conte. I'm not saying they're the same caliber coach, but I'm just saying when you try to change a formation drastically in the middle of the season when players aren't really built for your style of play, this is what happens. A Mazzarri happens. You know what I mean? Right. A situation like that where the guy, you know, he wants to implement his style, but with guys that have zero clue about how to play that soccer. You know?
Yeah.
And it would have been such a waste of time. Who knows if Conte would have even made it to the end of the season, you know?
So, Meluso will not be renewing, and it looks like Napoli are going with the Juve. I think he's the ex-Juve youth.
Yeah, he was a Juve dirigente. I don't know. He was a director there. I don't remember what. I think he, like, the responsabile. He was, like, responsible for the youth sector in some sort.
Right. His name is escaping me. I'm quickly trying to look it
Manna.
up. What's that?
Manna.
That's right, Manna. Yes,
I think Gianluca Manna or something. I don't remember his first name.
I believe that's what it is, Gianluca Manna. Apparently he's accepted and is already pretty much taking his role. There's a lot of players that are linked to us now too. I saw something about some defense from Atletico. I think it was
Hermoso.
That's right, Hermoso. Yes.
That guy's very reliable too, by the way. The DAZN reporter that reported that, Orazio Accomando or something like that.
Yes, so follow him. That's right. And, you know, honestly, I believe that that's the right move to make, and it's exactly what I had said is going to happen. You know, you're going to get the DS is going to be pretty much wrapped up by March, April, and in the middle of April, you're going to get a manager that's saying yes, and as soon as the season's over...
Thank God, Rafa, because
but this is how he's always operated.
But this isn't, though, because last season he didn't do this.
Okay, no.
You know?
Obviously, besides last season, which I said, I'm on record saying, is a wash. That last season, off season, that last summer was an anomaly. It was something we've never had to deal with. He didn't understand how to, like, I truly believe that it was an ADD moment for ADL.
I get it. No, I totally understand. And what I was trying to say was, it's nice to see that he clearly understood his mistakes last season and he's fixing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And starting off with the DS is how you fix it.
That's it. And when we come off of a season where we are so close yet so far, or are teetering between Champions and Europa, that's how we've been operating. But last season was a Scudetto party that everybody overlooked the fact that Spalletti wasn't happy with the renewal and that Giuntoli wanted out since January. And ADL thought, the Scudetto is enough, and, we're going to take care of things myself, this and that. Like this is proper ADL business.
Right.
I'm looking at Kiss now, Conte Napoli, giorni decisivi, il tecnico ha fatto un discorso a staff and famiglia. Like, he's ready, man. It's coming.
I really hope, man. I really, truly hope. And honestly,
$24 million for a 3-year contract and carte blanche, and
it makes sense.
Like, dude.
I don't know if you know. I listened to this Italian podcast, Cronache di Spogliatoio.
Oh wow! Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're really good.
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, they're awesome. There's Christian Borghi. He's a great an analyst.
Christian Borghi.
Yes, yeah, you've definitely heard his commentary before.
Yes.
There's Giuseppe Pastore. He's on Twitter a lot. He knows like everything about Serie A. You could tell me all the results from round 32 of 96-97 season. He'll tell you all the results and the goal scores. He's insane, this guy. And then there's Trevisani. You definitely know Trevisani.
Oh, Trevisani, I know.
Yeah. Trevisani. So really like well-established guys on this podcast, and they were just saying like, talking about Napoli, and it's like, where do they go from here? Obviously they got into talking about the new coach, and they said they were talking about, because this was around, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, where Conte's name finally started coming up again. They're like, if they were to get Conte, regardless of what place they are in the what place they finish in, if they keep the core players, I mean, obviously, Osimhen's probably leaving, but if they can replace Osimhen with someone good and get Conte, that's them right back in the Scudetto race, Mm-hmm. And these are well-established calcio people, saying that. It's not just me, it's not just you, that are biased.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, that's the effect that he has,
And there's also another article I'm looking at. The headline says ADL pronto a chiamare commisso per Martinez quarta, pupillo di Italiano and buono anche per Conte. So
Good
now
player.
we're looking at and we're looking at moves that make sense for Conte, and honestly, man, it's making me very excited. But we still have work to do. 7 games left. It would be best if we made it to the Champions League, but if we don't, guys, listen, we're going to be fine. We'll play in the Europa League. We'll play in the Conference League. It's fine. It's fine. I know you don't want to play in the Conference League, Dan, but I will take another season of Europe, because we just need to be in the conversation. We need to be in Europe. We need to have, I know, even without Europe, it would be a fresh start with Conte, and we'll be back. But honestly, I think if we do make the Conference League, we can treat it as if we're not in Europe and just kind of,
you kind of vibe through it, yeah.
Vibe through it, and then, like, if we win that thing, we win it, and Conte gets his first European trophy, whatever. You know what I mean? It's all good. But Dan, I had a great time with you. We'll be back
pleasure,
soon.
Man.
Yes, we'll try to get back together next week to talk about the Frosinone game and any sort of changes to the situation with Conte and Manna, and whatever happens, we'll be on to talk about it. But hey, man, take care. We'll see you next week. Man. Everybody,
hopefully next week is another happy episode.
Yep. That's right. I hope so, man. And, as always, Forza Napoli.
Sempre.
Ciao, ciao.
Stai da